How much difference does size matter? And I could go to the standard thing as like, well, that's what she asked, but we're not going there. So what we're really talking about today, sorry, I have an evil mind. What we're actually talking about today is the difference in old style parts called through-hole and surface mount parts called SMT. So I wanted to get a solder slinger's opinion. I am an old solder slinger. I've snorted my share of solder, that's for damn sure. On your opinion on SMT tech versus the old style components with leads. Think of those unbelievable long lists of tubes, resistors, caps, and which work best in different places. What's whose take? Thank you for consideration on this matter. Anyway, I guess he's asking what my take is. And this question, comes from Tom in Schiller Park, Illinois. A place where we are going pretty soon because we are heading out to Expona. And Expona is somewhere out in Rose Hill, something. Anyway, I think I live on Rose Hill, and I don't know. Okay, so let's talk, what are the differences? Well, when I was getting involved, there was no such thing as surface mount technology, or SMT for short. Way back when, there were the smallest things and the miracles of silicon at that time were called integrated circuits, and those integrated circuits were certainly miracles. They combined something that would be a PC board's worth of parts down into a tiny chip the size of a postage stamp. Now that's a true miracle, and those are still around today, and we still use those integrated circuits, and that's their very name suggests what they are. They are a complete circuit board that's integrated into one little package with little spider legs going out the bottom. And we use those for all kinds of things: voltage regulators, amplifiers, timers, microprocessors. All of that are on integrated circuits. But the support materials that go around those, the resistors and the capacitors and the inductors that make all of the integrated circuits capable of doing something, well, those when we started out in 1973, of course, were all through-hole, which were fairly large things that look like little firecrackers, right? If you picture a firecracker with a fuse coming out of each end, that's what all those parts looked like. And those firecrackers were resistors, or they were capacitors. Sometimes they were inductors. They didn't look like firecrackers, but they had two legs coming out of them. And they were parts that I could see, glasses or no glasses, and they were great. I mean, they had resistors. Every engineering person back in my day had to learn the color code. So if you look at a resistor, the old style resistors, they had bands of colors. So like brown was 1 and red is 2, black is 0, green is 5, blue is 6, white is 8 or 9. See, I'm starting to forget. I think it's 9. Anyway, every one of those colors, those stripes, would represent something. So like a 1,000 ohm resistor would be brown, black, red. Brown, black, red. Yep. So 1, 0, and 2 zeros. 1,000. So that's how we used to read resistors. And if you had a mega ohm resistor, it was the same thing, but it had a green stripe for the multiplier at the end. Easy stuff. You bend them, you put them in, you solder them down, bing, bada, boom, done. Now, come the computer age, and all of a sudden, with the bazillions of parts that they need, we could no longer afford the PC board real estate required for these through-hole parts. And so, slowly but surely, the very first thing they did was get rid of the legs. Because if you look, think of that firecracker, right? There's a big round barrel, and coming out of it are 2 long legs. Well, if you want to make that smaller, the very first thing you could do, remove the legs and then just put a couple of pads below that round cylinder. And those were the first sort of products that we saw that replaced and reduced the size of components. Later on, they started getting smaller and smaller and smaller to the point now where I can't even see them. I mean, they're just minuscule. Many of the products that we manufacture right now require very sophisticated equipment to put down the parts properly. X-ray machines that position the part before it gets soldered. They're glued on. I mean, it's a whole new technology. In our BHK series, we use all through-hole parts. And we do that because of a couple of things. One, we want to honor the fact that this is a hand-built, handcrafted amplifier where we're not going to compromise in any way, shape, or form. It's our state of the art. And to do that, we want to use through-hole parts because they sound better. Why? Well, their construction, if you pick the right ones, like we do, and we pay $1 a piece for these resistors, they are wound in such a way, they're beyond metal film, and they really do sound a lot better. But I got to pay $1 a piece for them, and they only come in small quantities. There's only one company that makes them, and that is becoming a dying art. So as long as it's available, we're going to go for it. But the other side of the coin, when we go digital, when we go to something, even our gain cell DAC, there we have advantages by using surface mount technology. And we have choices. There's thick film and thin film resistors. Each of them has their own sound, and we choose those appropriately for the proper place where it sounds right. But because they are surface mount, we are then able to take the circuitry down to a very small area, shorten the leads so that we don't have inductance and interference problems that are common, even in the BHK. The boards are fairly big, and that's a whole slew of other problems that we have to deal with. We do, but it's much easier if you can take it all down to something small. And then digital. There's no way that we could make the direct stream products as good as they are without surface mount technology, because there you're dealing in megahertz, unlike audio frequencies, where every little quarter inch has to be thought about, the traces have to be equal length and the right size, and the smaller you can make those parts, the better it's going to perform and sound. Hope that helps answer your question a bit. Thank you for asking it, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.